personal note, take the liberty to do that. Today is my wife's 50th birthday, so I wanted to at least tell her happy birthday. And I'm sorry about the hurricane, but we're going to be taking a trip in a couple of weeks, so we'll have a chance to just please indulge me for a couple more days as we keep working on this hurricane. But it is her birthday, and I wanted to at least recognize her on a big one at 5-0. Jill, happy birthday. I do want to talk about a couple of things. Obviously, we've got so much going on with. We'll talk some about the hurricane first, and then we'll step into things. We've got meetings this week, so we'll step into a few things. We're going to start off with hurricanes. First off, recycling, and many of you have been asking about your recycled materials, and we told you to only put the black can out. ECUA's recycling facility has received significant damage. I think you've heard Bruce Woody up here talk to you about that. And so it has received significant damage and will not be accepting any recyclables until further notice. Therefore, the City of Pensacola is unable to recycle any further until further notice. Since we use this facility, we will resume recycling as soon as the repairs are made to the facility. Now, what do we do? If there are things within that, I'll be talking with John in Sanitation and see how we do. Many of you I know have full recycle bins and what we can do, but at least I will tell you for the short term until we can get until ECUA can get the recycling facility, we will just be picking up the black can. And in order to help you relieve your brown can, I will be talking with John Pittman, and we will have more. Please listen to us at the briefings that we have for the hurricane updates, and we'll let you know more at that time. City Sanitation, again, at this particular time, sanitation customers will be receiving 2 black can pickups. If you are a Monday or a Tuesday route, your pickups are on now this week, Monday and Wednesday. You will get 2 pickups. If you are a Wednesday-Thursday pickup, your pickups will be Tuesday and Thursday. So you will get 2 pickups this week. I know many of you out there have expressed to me, I've seen full cans busting at the seams, even routes that I know that are Thursday routes that are sitting right now on the road. And I know that. We know that. We appreciate your patience with us. We felt like the most important thing over the last couple of days has been to get power trucks on the road and to get power restored. So again, we will be picking up trash today, and we're beginning that process. So again, please have your black can only out for those days, and we will pick up, if you're a Monday, Tuesday route, we'll pick you up either this Monday the 21st or Wednesday the 23rd. We'll pick you up both those days. And then if you're Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be picking you up on Tuesday, September 22nd and Thursday, September 24th. City debris pickup information. Starting today, the 21st, we will be collecting debris for the City of Pensacola sanitation customers. We should have that scheduled later today, so please stay tuned. I'm hoping to have that, Casey, will we have that by the afternoon briefing?
I hope so.
Okay, all right. All right. Please do not place yard debris in plastic garbage bags. Yard debris that is already bagged at the curb will be collected, but the plastic bags prevent us from processing as yard waste. Yard debris, all you got to do is just bring it to the curb. You don't need to bag it, do anything fancy. If you want to put it in a paper bag, paper bags are acceptable, but you don't have to do anything to it. You can just get it to the street, and we will pick it up. And that is beginning today. We have that, and we've divided the city into several zones, and we will be getting to you each day. We'll be picking up a different zone, so we will have that map for you today. If an item is not collected on first pass, if we go through there, please rush them to the curb if you have things that don't get picked up, because we will be making a second pass. But please visit cityofpensacola.com for more information on how to separate and place your debris on the curbside. The Mayor's Neighborhood Cleanup, we were supposed to have one this coming weekend. We will reschedule that for November. Again, that one for September 26th. You have been canceled and rescheduled. You will go in November. So you will get it picked up, and I'm sorry you got to hold on to those items for another 60 days. We will get to you, but it will be November. So please, if you are in that area, October, you're on schedule. If you're with the September Mayor's Cleanup, we'll pick you up in November. Just hold on to those things for another 2 months, and we'll have them picked up. City Hurricane Sally recovery summary. Again, we have 92 signalized intersections in the city. Only 4 of those are now not remaining. Only 4 of them do not have power, and we're still working to get those restored as fast as possible. So we've gotten 88 done, and we're down to 4. All major stormwater ponds have been pumped down successfully, and stormwater inlet pipes are being cleared by city crews. I have Derek Owen, city engineer, here. Despite significant, he's okay. They had storm surge. I was just talking to him about it at his house. He's been out there working hard. We are prepared if we get any rain. We are prepared to deal with that, and I really appreciate him and his crews getting out there. He is going to be here, is available to talk to you about any of those things. Damage assessments of city building facilities have been completed. The current damage assessment is approximately $10 million. City parks and recreations are currently being assessed for damages. The damage assessments will continue this week. There is significant damage to our waterfront assets that we continue to work on. 353 trees have been reported blocking roadways, and approximately 315 of those have been cleared. The remaining of those blockages will be cleared in the next 48 hours. We need to focus on road clearing at this time. If you clear a tree and leave it on the side of the road, please be patient. We will be back to remove it at once all the roadways are cleared. Damage assessments for the city waterfront are continuing and will be done in the next 48 hours. Tarps and water. City of Pensacola Parks and Recreation, in coordination with Escambia County Emergency Center and FEMA, will be distributing free tarps and water starting today on Monday, the 1st, from 2 to 5 p.m. until supplies are gone. Tarps and water will be distributed at the following City of Pensacola community centers. Bayview Resource Center will be a drive-through. That's 2000 East Lloyd. Cobb Resource Center, which is 601 East Mallory Street. Fricker Resource Center at 900 North F. Gold Point Resource Center at 7000 Spanish Trail. Sanders Beach, Corinne Jones Resource Center is also a drive-through only, 913 South I, and Woodland Heights Resource Center, 111 Berkeley. Those sites will have tarps available at 2 to 5. It's first come, first serve while supplies last. All city parks will remain closed until further notice. Roger Scott Tennis Center will reopen today at 8 o'clock. Clay courts remain closed. They obviously took a lot of damage with the water, and we're working to restore those. Hard courts are open today at 8 o'clock. Osceola Golf Course will remain closed until further notice. 9 holes on the course and driving range are expected to reopen by midweek. Exchange Park Adult Sports Leagues and youth sport activities at Roger Scott Athletic Complex will be postponed until further notice. Vickery Resource Center will remain closed to the public until further notice, with the exception of the YMCA after-school program. Mass distribution will resume today, Monday the 21st, while supplies last. The location and days and times are as follows. Bayview Senior Center, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10:30, and then 12:30 to 3. This is drive-through only. Cobb Resource Center, Monday through Friday from 10 to 1. Fricker Resource Center, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon. Gold Point Resource Center, Monday through Thursday from 3 to 5. And then Sanders Beach, Corinne Jones Resource Center, Tuesday to Thursday from 11 to 1. And Woodland Heights Resource Center, Monday through Friday, also 3 to 5. After-school snack distribution will resume on today, Monday the 21st. It'll run Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 at the following sites, which are going to be Cobb Resource Center, Fricker Resource Center, Gold Point Resource Center, Woodland Heights Resource Center. Senior meal pickup at Bayview Senior Center has been temporarily suspended until further notice. Staff will continue to work with the Council on Aging to determine future dates to resume. Announcements will follow on that determination. Seniors are encouraged to contact the Council on Aging at 432-1475 for alternate programming. 432-1475. Each household will receive 1 machine washable mask per person with a limit of 5 masks per family. The Port of Pensacola, following the Corps of Engineers survey of the Pensacola Pass and the Caucasus Channel, the port was open to vessel traffic on Sunday morning. Vessel drafts are limited until minor shoaling caused by the storm can be removed. Landside operations resumed Thursday afternoon with power restored to all terminals and facilities on Saturday. The CPAC meeting, the Citizens Police Advisory Committee meeting, will be held tomorrow, Tuesday, September 22nd at 5:30. The meeting will take place at the Hagler Mason Conference Room with all public participation taking place virtually. The meeting can be viewed at cityofpensacola.com/video. Again, Our plan at this particular time is to have that meeting. I do know that obviously Lawrence Powell will continue to work with the chairman if they feel for some reason members or a reason that could change. But at this particular time, it is still on for tomorrow night at 5:30 at Hagler Mason, and you can turn in and see us. Visit cityofpensacola.com/cc input, and again, starting from 1 today. You can fill out your speaker form. We'll be glad to take you. And again, it will stream live on cityofpensacola.com/video. So we will have that. City council meetings, we got a lot of them this week. Agenda conference will be today, Monday, September 21st at 3:30. So we'll be doing that, and it will also be online, and you can follow it there. Workshop today, 3:30 will be, I guess that's, they're having their own workshop that will follow the meeting today after the agenda conference. City Council special meeting, a budget hearing. This will be the second budget hearing. Is scheduled for Wednesday, September 23rd at 5:30. Again, this is the last budget hearing. It was supposed to occur last Wednesday, so we've moved it to this Wednesday. So you can also watch us there via the same ability to watch us. In City Council regular meeting will be Thursday, September 24th, 5:30. All public participation will take place remotely. Please visit cityofpensacola.com or view each meeting agenda for details on how to participate.
And we also have the emergency meeting at 3:25 today.
Okay.
I thought I had that listed.
Okay. And there's an emergency meeting, and that I assume that's all hurricane related. We'll be doing that at 3:25. All right. COVID-19. There are now 12,033 positive cases of COVID. Almost 11,000 of those are residents. The last update from the state shows a 3.02 positive rate for September 19th in Escambia County. We've been trending down, and then we haven't had as much testing. Numbers have also been trending down. Our hospitalizations at this point have gone from last week. We were at 75. We've gone 75, 75, then 70, 63, 64, 59, and yesterday was 50. So we have reached 50. The last time we were this low, we were at 44 when we first instituted. We haven't been this low since the council passed their mask ordinance. Again, as we move forward, we will be asking council to continue the state of emergency, but we will be asking them to lift the mandate on the mask. And I think much of that comes down to the same point of what we see with hurricanes. I think at some point we have to have numbers that we're shooting for and we're definitively at. And again, we haven't been this low since we didn't have a mask mandate. There's no doubt that the masks work in practice. And the practice at the City Hall will still be, and all city facilities will still be, to wear masks. But we feel like at this point, telling people to do it, it's counterproductive, because when we need you to do it, we want to be able to bring that tool back out and do it again and get people to do that. Case in point is, we don't tell you from May to November that you have to do everything for hurricanes. In fact, we tell you it's hurricane season, but when we issue and we come on and tell you there's a warning, that's when we expect you to act. And I think sometimes when you wear on people with a continued act, they sometimes get less responsive in following it. So from our standpoint, from what we're looking at, I think we'd like to see the we're below 50 hospitalizations. That's the number we've been tracking. At this point, we're going to ask the council to lift that. But I'm going to be very clear, if we see numbers come back up into a point, we're going to immediately jump on that. But even without being a mandate, we believe the practice, let me be very clear, the practice of wearing a mask is still going to be important and is still going to be required in city buildings. So again, I think this is what we're talking about, and if they go up, we're gonna create the mandate again, and we expect people to follow it. But we do want to show people that when we get to certain numbers, we can reduce it and lift it and see what happens. So we're going to continue to work through that. I had a real interesting conversation with Senator Rubio while he was here. Much of the things that he talked about were the same thing he's saying, at least what he's getting briefed, that more and more as we're understanding COVID, it is not something that a little bit of it is necessarily automatically makes you get COVID. It really does have to do some with the load that you receive, and therefore it is important for either the contaminant or the other individual, yourself, wearing the mask. So in practice, we still believe when you get into areas around other people, it's good to have a mask. He also talked significantly about how it's showing that if you're outside, and there may be the opportunity, they're continuing to show there's less and less transmission of this outside. This comes from inside crowded places. Outside, it's, again, in the sunlight. I don't know about nighttime, but at least from hearing from him, outside in the sunlight is still a better point. But if you are in a crowded outside, we do expect you to still wear a mask. We're trying to keep crowds down, but for most part, being outside, it was interesting talking to him about what he had seen in some of the things that he had in his briefing. So again, that's where we stand with COVID and what will be happening this week. We will be asking for the extension of the emergency declaration, though, through November. Finally, last but not least, census. I don't think any of us have to realize why the census is important is what happened this past week. The supplies and things that happen and are available and things that get to us, our federal resources that happen, are very much dependent upon the census. We need you to take the time to fill it out. Most of you have, and I very much want to tell you right now I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to do that. It is your civic duty, and you have helped the city and Escambia County and Northwest Florida greatly by doing so. But again, if you haven't had the chance to do that, the deadline is September 30th. The goal for Pensacola is 80%. Currently, the city response rate is 67.8%, and Escambia County's response rate is 63.8%. So we still have a ways to go, and I hope those of you out there will help us get to where we need to go. But I want to thank at least 2/3 of the citizens out there in the city of Pensacola have taken the time to fill it out, and I really appreciate and thank you for doing so. This is kind of it for the information we have. I'm now open to answer any of your questions.
Are you planning on making any other changes with the hospitals going to green status?
No. Again, the mandate, we will be asking council. It is their ordinance at this point. They'll have to vote on it. But what I plan to share with them is if the numbers go back up, I can put it in until the next time we have a council meeting, and then they can bring it back up. I think it is important that we give the public kind of an area where we go to green and we're safe, and then when we're not safe. But I still believe in practice you will see the city hall and city buildings continue to wear masks. I know the next part of the question is when will people come into meetings. I do not control that. The council president controls that. But again, part of it is also the governor. The governor has made that allowance through the end of the month. It first depends on whether he extends that or not. And then if he extends it, it will be really up to Council President Wynn, Canada Wynn, to make the determination. At some point, I think we will work to begin this process. But I also do want to comment about one of the things on there. We have opened ourselves. In a way, we've opened ourselves more open than we've ever been. I mean, the only way you used to communicate with the city is by showing up and coming to City Hall. Now, that's certainly good, but right now, all you got to do is you can be at your home and do it. So I do think, to an extent, we have given the opportunity to more people to participate. Has it created more participation? I think on some of our most controversial items, yeah, we had people who weren't even in the city of Pensacola calling in. I mean, is that good or bad? I don't know, but I mean, we certainly did open it up. But will it be opened back up in person? It's really going to depend first on whether the governor allows us to do that, and then second, then it will be up to the council president to make that determination. And again, we get to November, we'll have a new council president. So, those determinations will be made, but that's kind of where we are.
Mayor, what's your recommendation to the council president on that? Because right now, a lot of people aren't having good internet connections, communications are spotty. I think
we should begin having people back in. I think we should have people in. Everybody's going to be in mask, and you're going to be spaced. And if for some reason my recommendation would be, if some reason we fill up all the space, then we have people outside waiting that could come in and rotate. I think those are the only way I know how to adjust and make it fair for everyone. But I want to be clear, we are not going to seat every seat inside. Of course, many of y'all have shown up, and most nights we don't need to fill every seat. But even if we had a capacity issue, I don't think we would clearly continue to space, and we would ask you to wear a mask. I can't imagine those protocols would not be in place. But that's not my decision to make. At the end of the day, just like at the end of the day, voting on the ordinance is not my decision. But I think at some point you wear people out. Cristobal was a good example. I mean, didn't even come here, didn't do anything. Skanska brings all of their equipment in, and then they get frustrated because they haven't done it. And then they leave it out there, and the one time that we end up having a storm. So at some point, I think you've got to, with the mandate, you've got to be able to bring it out and then take it away when you can demonstrate that you are achieving what you want. At 50 hospitalizations, I believe we're achieving what we want. My conversations with all 3 hospitals are 50 is a very manageable number. And they've learned how to deal with this better. But again, there's a difference between mandate and practice. We are going to, again, continue to say practice it. And again, the conversation I had with Senator Rubio, because of the issue of, I think what we're going to learn more and more about this virus is load. The more we wear a mask, the less likely it is that you will transmit, spread, or catch this virus. I think that's what we're going to see over time, and I think we're all still learning about it, but I think it does make a difference, and it certainly makes a difference when you're in a crowded situation. Yes, John.
Mayor, 5 days after landfall, what are the 3 things you think that the community has done very well that you're proud of? And what are the 3 things that you think we need to work harder on?
I think the one I'm most proud of is the way we've come together and worked to help each other. I did a post yesterday of a family, the Perez family that lives on Mall Road. They came over and just started helping. I was in my mother-in-law's yard, and they spent an hour with me just picking up branches and getting stuff done, which that is a big yard. I raked it for a long time as a kid, and I was dreading going over there. But that's the kind of thing, number one, that I think we've done very good. I think we've also responded incredibly well as a staff to what we can do. People ask me about things I can't control, but I can tell you what I do control. I do control an engineering department and a public works department that was out there immediately clearing trees and doing things and getting things back open. We have a gas company that we did not lose operations of that during the whole process, and we went out and got it taken care of at Pensacola Energy. The staff that we have here, the PIO staff who's been here religiously at this place just every single moment taking care of things. So I appreciate them. Those are things that I think we've done well. And I think responding quickly to take care of the things that we had. What did we not do well? I don't think a lot of people took this seriously from the beginning, and I think that's the challenge that we're dealing with. I want to be very clear. The City of Pensacola declared a state of emergency on Monday morning. Usually we follow the lead, but we felt like it was important. I said to Jim Cantori, and he kind of laughed. He said, I'm going to use this from now on. Those hurricanes, they have tracks, they have models. They are not Disney World rides. They do not have to follow the exact track. So if it's in the Gulf, we got to be watchful. We got to be better prepared, and I think people will be better prepared. But like we saw that, I remember after Ivan, the next year when Dennis came up, everybody left. So it's going to be fresh in our memory, and we're going to leave, and we're going to take the heat after Sally. The question is going to become 5, 6, 7 years down the road. Are we still going to be doing those lessons? What I would tell you, if you live in the northern Gulf Coast, Pensacola, anywhere else, if there's one in the Gulf, you got to be prepared. You just got to. You got to realize it could turn. Nobody controls the high pressure systems. What happens and turns it. So you just got to be wary. And I think that's probably one of the things we've got to do a little bit better job of. Clearly, I think we're working with some new partners that we haven't worked with before. This is the first time we've worked with NextEra. on a storm in our area. I think we're learning. I think they learned us a little bit more this year. So I think once we got over that hurdle, I think things have gone well in getting people back into power. And then lastly, I think we've got to remember we've got to be able to exercise some patience better, because at the end of the day, this is why we preach the first 72 is on you. I'm looking at that poster right back there. We've got to be prepared better, because these things, a variety of things can happen. I mean, the Shoal River on I-10 can flood, and we could not get crews in here. I mean, it's so funny to get crews from the state of Florida, including our new power partner. Everybody's got to come from the east, and sometimes when we have hurricanes, we can't get supplies from the east. We get supplies easier from the west and from the north. So, I think those are things we need to go back and look, and that's probably with our power people, with our state people. I know when Jared Moskowitz was here, I talked to him about that. Is perhaps we got to find a way to stage for places over here that are maybe north and not the traditional places coming from the east, because it seems like we've had the I-10 bridge go out. We've had problems on the causeway with 90. I mean, I remember Ivan, you had to go up to like a Quintet to get across. So it's challenging. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I got Jeremy was in the back. Then I'll come back that way. You okay? Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
So Janice Gilly said maybe a ferry. Sam Abel said they're looking at a ferry. The two ferries we got are damaged, not usable. Is there any short-term plan we're thinking about for getting even just people without their cars across to Gulf Breeze and back?
Yeah, I have meetings all week scheduled at a certain time with DOT this whole week. I know Derek probably will be working through that. I think we can do that. I've heard a lot of people, and there are people out there that we're talking. Here's what I don't think. I think we can do people. I think we can do people. Here's the problem. Everybody's like, well, we're going to do cars. I said, there's nowhere that has a deep enough draft in Santa Rosa County to pick up cars. So cars are off the table to me right there. I mean, when you think about the realistic ability, cars are off the table. But we probably could work people. I mean, we've got deep enough access on Pensacola, and we can get to work getting our assets back in place on the Pensacola side. It'll take some time, but we can do that. There are ferries out there.
Are the ferry terminals on our side functional?
The slip is functional. We would have to bring back the little landing barge. I'm not exactly sure of the degree of the problem. I know there are problems. I don't know if we can use. I'll let Derek speak to that.
Yeah, the landing itself is disappeared.
Derek, they may need you to come up here.
The landing itself was destroyed, so we would have to, that had to be reconstructed, but I think that could be done in short order if we were to come into a situation where we can get some new ferries in here to transport people over to the other side.
So I think we're going to talk about that. I know when FEMA was here, I was with the FEMA people on Saturday. We toured them. We went to the ferries. We showed them the DOI ferries. We actually talked. They're going to take a little while. They're going to take about 7 days to get repaired so they can float, and then they got to go get fixed over in Biola Battery. So, but there are all kind of things. I mean, DOI. FEMA said, why don't you talk to DOI about the Mississippi ferry? There are other ferries out there. So, I think we're going to talk with DOT. That's clearly something we realize. I think right now everybody was trying to assess, okay, how long realistically is this going on? What do we need to do? How do we solve this? So. I think over the next week we're going to have a much better idea as to what's done. To me, I mean, these are kind of things that Skanska ought to be figuring out. I mean, City of Pensacola didn't leave the barges out there, I think they ought to be helping figure that out and figure out how that gets paid. And again, those are some things that are just my thoughts on that process. Listen, it's going to help them a heck of a lot better in trying to defer legal damages, because every time somebody has to go all the way around, that's another cost. Their meter's going to be running one way or the other. So I think they need to figure out how to get somebody here. We will work with DOT, Skanska, whoever it is. We'll work to make sure that we can do that. We have a fairly large parking area during the fall and winter months. It's very lightly used, so it probably would be workable for people to carpool. If I lived in Gulf Breeze, I would start thinking about that. I would start thinking about how I do that and get somebody's car over here and figure out how to work that. A lot of car sharing now. So I think those are things that we will be thinking about, and over the next week, I think we'll have a plan. Jim?
Yeah, really, has the city awarded a contract yet for debris removal?
Yeah, we've already got
It's D&J.
D&J. They were one of our. We already had. We had people already on the list going in. This actually, this bid I think goes back to 2018 before I even became mayor. This was the last administration did this. I mean, we are going to probably do some things a little bit differently when we come at the end of hurricane season, just because I think it's interesting. I mean, we didn't have, no one expressed to us the opportunity to bring in and hire other individuals. I'm sure that program was interesting as we look at trying to look at how we involve locals more. But part of my understanding with FEMA is you got to put this stuff out to bid, and then whoever gets it. So we will be doing that again. These were the contractors we had from 2018 bid that happened before the 2018 season started. And my understanding was the administration worked with them, made that selection, and got them ready to roll. We're actually rolling today, picking up.
How much is the cost?
I don't know what the cost is. I do know the county told you they've got about 2.5 million cubic feet. The city has about 285,000 cubic feet. So we are almost 10% of what they are. That kind of gives you an idea. They had 3 contracts of a certain amount, and we're 10%. I mean, we wouldn't even be a full contract. We'd be a third of a contract that they offered out. So, I mean, that's one of the good things about having our smaller size, but it does make it a little bit more challenging on us. We're not nearly as attractive for people to want to bid on and participate in. We don't have as much to clean up. Yes.
In your conversations with the hospitals, is 50 still the number they're comfortable with? And
Yeah.
do you have any, I guess, reservations about dropping the mask order prior to, a season where illness in general is a problem?
Jeremy, again, I have no problem drafting the mask order because I don't think the mask order is going to change the way I behave. I think there are 2 things that I want to be clear on. I still believe that you should be doing it. The question is, do we have to mandate it and go to this extremity to do that? And I would say, case in point is, we tell you in May, hurricane season is here, go get your stuff, stock up on your batteries. But we don't stay in a constant emergency until we know we get a storm. And when we get a storm, we expect you to act. When we tell you there's an emergency, we expect you to act. So I don't want to force a mandate. I don't want to red line, all the time with a mandate when we don't need it. Because when I tell you we got a mandate, that's when I want you to absolutely, everybody's got to be taking. I mean, if numbers go up and we go up over 75 and we're heading in that direction, everybody's got to start wearing a mask again. I mean, it's just that's the way it needs to be. But to me, it's like a hurricane. Right now, we're in COVID season. We're not in a COVID warning. But we get to a COVID warning, we need to all be wearing masks. But the practice still needs to stay the same. But I think by the end of the fall, we're going to know so much more about the disease, how it transmits, and what's going on. It was just interesting talking to the senator and some of the things that he had talked about.
A couple more questions just on COVID, and forgive me, I may have just missed this. What would be the date around that, around dropping the mask?
The 24th is the meeting. We will ask the council, and again, it's a vote. It's a vote by the council. We are recommending it for the various reasons I just told you. That I believe our hospitalizations are down to 50. I think it's a time for us to be realistic, but I'll be the first to say we're going to come back, and I'll be very clear. We've talked to the council, and we've told them we are continuing to have a policy at city buildings that we will wear masks.
And to extend the emergency declaration, but not the mask part of it, what does that leave in place?
It leaves in place the ability for if we got to a certain number that I could automatically create the mask ordinance. And also, neither myself nor the council can do a mask ordinance if we're not in a state of emergency. So those are our challenges that we've run with. But we do believe the emergency should be extended. The state's extended theirs. If the numbers go up, that gives us the ability, I can act immediately. I have a certain amount of time where it has to eventually come back to council. They can always vote. But if we're not in a council meeting, I can act, and just as we did before. So again, that's what I think it should be done. And we've been very clear. What we're tracking is hospitalizations. Positivity rate is important. New cases are important. But we believe hospitalizations is the reason we got into this. Hospitalizations we got into this to keep our hospitals from being overrun. If you are less likely if you don't go to the hospital, you're probably less likely to be a fatality of this. So the hospitals are getting better at treating. All those things are happening. But in practice, we still need to continue to wear masks and do what we're doing on practice. Yes, Jeremy.
Have you spoken to any, you said when you put the mask order in place that business owners or, employees of places have thanked you for doing that. Have you spoken to any of those people?
About taking it back, I imagine you.
Because it doesn't give them any argument to say you got to wear a mask.
Well, again, they have the ability to do that right now. Places, Jeremy, I would say we're in a different world. I go to places in the county where they mandate that you wear a mask in there. There is no mask mandate in the county where we are here, but I go to places that have put it in. Their private businesses are perfectly able to place a mask mandate. The city hall will continue to do so. Any business can do that. So I think we're all kind of learning. I tend to say, here's what I think is your practice should be what you feel, and you should certainly follow whatever the place you go to. If you go to a business, you follow their practice. If you go to somebody's office, you follow their practice. If you go to somebody's home, you follow their practice. Now they may say they don't want masks, and you have the right to wear a mask. That's still your right to wear a mask. But I mean, if you if you show up at somebody's house and they say we want you to wear a mask, then you should follow the practice that they have. Well, thank you very much. We'll look forward to having some more updates for you related to the hurricane. But again, otherwise, we may be doing a COVID thing on Wednesday. We'll still see what we're going to do. It may be hurricane related, but we will do some type of Facebook Live, I think. So thank you very much.